Lord Lieutenant, Lord Mayor, members of court, council and senate, members of parliament, honorary graduate and graduates, members of the university, guests, friends, family members. May I, first of all, thank you, Vice-Chancellor, for all that you said, presenting me to the university before this most distinguished congregation. To the University Court, Council and Senate, I express my deep gratitude for the honor that you bestow on me in electing me the 5th Chancellor. I follow 4 very distinguished Chancellors, and I'm delighted to see that my predecessor, Baroness Lockwood, a lifelong champion for equal opportunities and widening participation, joins us here today. I'm also greatly honored to be the first International Chancellor of Bradford University. I feel, for 2 other reasons, that this is a source of great pride for me. One, that in social inclusiveness, Bradford was considered #1 university. I think this is a tremendous achievement. And secondly, in graduate employment, in north of England, it was #1 university and #2 overall in England. So I think you really have conferred a great honor on me to have elected me as your Chancellor. Very briefly to the graduates, I just have a few words of advice from my own experience. As you just saw today, I'm not a very good starter. I was always at my most vulnerable when I first went into bat. But the reason I was more successful than others was because I learned from my mistakes. I was better at analyzing my mistakes and then correcting them than other people. Successful people are not those who don't make mistakes, but who analyze their mistakes and eliminate them. When I came into cricket, after my first test match, I was dropped, kicked out of the team, didn't come back until 3 years later. When I was trying to make it, everyone used to tell me, you don't have the talent. My older 2 cousins, who were my role models, they used to remind me were far more experienced than, talented than me at my age. And throughout my cricketing career, I was told that it's impossible. You cannot do it. Similarly, when probably far more difficult than playing cricket was building the first cancer hospital in Pakistan, I held a conference of the top doctors in the city. Out of the 20 doctors, 19 said that it was impossible. You cannot build a cancer hospital in Pakistan. I also had a lot of ridicule, people laughing at me throughout various stages of my life. But this is really what I want to tell you. Successful people are fearless. They fight their fears. They're not scared of failure. They do not care what people say, because people change what they think all the time. I remember going into bat, and a whole crowd of people in Lahore Cricket Stadium cheering me, Lion of Lahore. I got out first ball, and the same crowd started jeering at me. And the next day, when I did well in bowling, again they cheered me. So I realized that public opinion is fickle. Do not allow your lives to be driven by what people say. Go by what your objectives are, what your passions are, what your ideals are. And never, ever downgrade your ideals in moments of weakness. When you've suffered a setback, that really is the time to reflect why you've suffered a setback. and correct the mistake and keep going towards that ideal. Because the problem is, it's not a defeat that destroys you. It's being demoralized by defeat that destroys you. As long as you keep learning from defeats, you will always keep coming back and get stronger all the time. I wasn't the most talented, but it was this ability to keep coming back that I succeeded. People still laugh at me in politics. They think that I won't make it. But I think I will, after Harold Wilson, I'll be your next Chancellor to become the Prime Minister. And a final piece of advice, making money, seeking material well-being is fine, but always make money for an objective, higher objective. Never make money your objective, because it is the recipe for unhappiness. Finally, Baroness Amos, thank you for that compliment you paid me. I'm delighted. I'm also delighted that my first conferment of honorary degree as Chancellor has been to you, in recognition of your distinguished contribution to public life, and particularly in the field of equal opportunities and international development. Vice Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for your attendance and your personal support to myself, despite my poor start.